appear for the interview of a teacher, you should keep all those things in your mind when you are a student. That what kind of teacher you had been admiring and you admire till date.
Yes.
You got my
Right.
point, what I want to say?
Yes.
It means
Exactly.
something of that stuff a student looks into a teacher. But of course,
Yes.
it depends, Neha. What I have pointed out right now, it is about when you are appearing for a job in a school. Suppose you are
Mm.
appearing for some teaching job at the college level, then the impression would be a bit different. But in
Mm.
both the cases, the first and foremost very important thing is dress up. That is very important
Mm.
thing, that you should look decent. Like if you are going to appear for the interview of a teacher, whether a school teacher or a college, in the college, and you are going to wear jeans with the tees, do you think it
Mm.
would? Very good evening.
One of my subscribers, she requested me to make a video specifically how to crack teachers interview, what all are the questions that are most of the time most commonly asked question. So I was thinking to make this video, but you know what, I think no one can solve, or no one can give us better answer than you, because you yourself has worked as a teacher and now you're working as a principal. So I think my subscriber and we both are going to get great guidelines from you. So first of all, ma'am, it's not only about how to face interview, what all the questions and kind of, just a brief kind of things, how to make or how to keep yourself ready for that interview. And I just want to discuss verbal communication plus non-verbal communication, because most of the time we ignore the second one, and that plays a crucial role. Okay, so first of all, what I believe that we should, is it necessary to wear a sari, ma'am? If we want to keep it very formal, because yes, I do believe that we can wear a decent dress. It may be kurti, legging, or kind of stuff, right? So yes, ma'am, it's all your take now.
If you are to start with the dress, you should
Mm-hmm.
wear a very decent dress, because we are talking
Hmm.
about the job of a teacher. And you know,
Teacher.
teachers are always taken as iconic figures in the society. They are
Yes.
the ideals for a student. Okay. So if I have to begin from the very beginning, let's start talking about how to make the preparation and what are the points which we should
Hmm.
keep in our mind. If it would have been yours have been a general kind of question, then in that very case, my answer would have been that it depends upon the kind of job you are appearing in. The preparation
Hmm.
depends upon the kind of job you appear in. But because now we have focused on the teaching profession only, and as we know, teachers are always considered as ideals. If you go back to your college or university days, and even school days, uh, specific, definitely, some specific face might be, flashing in your thought process,
Hmm.
face of your teacher. You might have admired a lot during those days. And because the child is very small, child always admires a teacher who not only teaches them, who really educate, gives them education.
Yes.
Today I'm going to upload, I've already uploaded, it will be flashed at the given time. What is the difference between a teacher and educator? This my short
Okay.
is coming to you for this thing only. So to appear for the interview of a teacher, you should
Hmm.
keep all those things in your mind when you are a student. That what kind of teacher you had been admiring and you admire till date.
Yes.
You got my
Right.
point, what I want to say?
Yes.
It means
Exactly.
something of that stuff a student looks into a teacher. But of course,
Yes.
it depends, Neha, because the thing we what I have pointed out right now, it is about when you are appearing for a job in a school. Suppose you are
Hmm.
appearing for some teaching job at the college level, then the impression would be a bit different. But
Hmm.
in both the cases, the first and foremost very important thing is dress up. That is very important
Hmm.
thing, that you should look decent. Like if you are going to appear for the interview of a teacher, whether a school teacher or a college, in the college, and you are going to wear jeans with the tees, do you think it
Hmm.
would look, that doesn't suit to the
Yes.
persona of a teacher. Got it?
Right. Yes.
At our personal end, we could be anything. We have all the
Hmm.
rights to enjoy our life and hang out with the friends and do everything. But at the professional hand, we live a different life. So
Hmm.
whatever you wear when you are with your friends or with your family, but at work front, and especially when you're going to appear for the interview, your dress up is a very important code. Always take it
Yes.
very seriously. Yes, suppose if I'm going to appear for a job of the college cadre, even for the schools also, and in sari you look very smart. If you have that
Yes.
feeling that in sari you look very smart, there is nothing like that, because
Hmm.
sari enhances your personality. But
Yes.
important thing is you should be capable enough to carry that dress.
Carry that. Right.
Because
Yes.
again in saris, sari falls in, you can define sari with so many definitions. It is
Right.
very decent and it is a sensual at the same time. Don't you
Exactly.
get it? The way you
Right.
wear it. So that thing is very important.
So now, ma'am, how to introduce oneself? Like it's a very common question. Tell something about yourself. So sometimes people just go a long way. They are including their family, how many members they have, and right. So I just want to the introduction should be short and crisp, right? We should not beat
Yes,
around the bush. So give some
yes.
idea. And one crucial point here, most of the time people start with this line, thank you ma'am for giving me this opportunity. So just imagine you are sitting there, you are taking the interviews, and it's for 20 or 25 or 23rd time, like 30th time you are hearing the same line. It's really sound cliche. So how can we change this line with some good options? And is it necessary to start your introduction with this line, this thank you for giving
No,
me this
no,
opportunity?
no. It is actually not at all needed.
Hmm.
I can't give you the satisfactory answer that how did it start, because being a part of the interview panel, we used to
Mm-hmm.
face these kinds of situations a number
Huh.
of times, and even a number of times when the candidate enters and takes a seat, we do point out, please don't say this thing, please don't repeat this line for giving
Right.
you the opportunity. Let's
Huh.
You just give your introduction in a very crisp
Introduction.
way so that we get to know
Huh.
the kind of person you are.
Hmm.
Actually, this is the sole purpose of any interviewer or the employer.
Hmm.
And when the candidates come, the first thing which have you are already mentioned, that doing these displacement kind of activities, like either doing
Hmm.
something here, at one end, if it is showing your nervousness, interviews, they're quite aware of the mental state of the candidate. They are aware of it.
Yes.
So they give this much of liberty. But at the same time,
Hmm.
it shows your casual approach as well. It shows as
Yes.
if you are not prepared. Because
Hmm.
sitting for and appearing for an interview should always be taken as a very serious affair. Nervousness, of course, nervousness doesn't bother to the
Hmm.
people sitting over there, because we always try to make the candidate very comfortable. We always, even a number of times you might have heard of it or noticed or experienced that we would offer water to the candidate. Okay, you
Yes.
take water,
Take.
sit
Huh.
calm, nothing wrong, nothing is going to happen. It's just an introductory part, and we know your
Yes.
credentials are very good. Take some time. Okay, take a sigh,
Hmm.
then we give 1 or 2 minutes, and after that, then we, number of times we ask the candidate, are you comfortable with, let's start with the
Yes.
introduction.
That is it.
So
Right.
employers, because it's not the responsibility of the candidate who is sitting for the who has to follow some do's and do nots. Similar kind of rule applies or implies on the interviewers as well. It's their
Yes.
responsibility to provide that comfortness to the candidate as well.
Hmm.
That is not an issue. But the thing is, once you start giving your introduction, the people which the kind of mistake they used to make, they begin with myself so and so, myself Neha, myself Kawaljit. Never say
Yes.
myself. Always begin with I am so and so. Okay, once you are
Yes.
done with I am Neha, I am Kawaljit. Okay, now it depends that at what level. the platform is belongs to what level? Level in the sense you might be appearing for some interview in your own city. Then there is no need to
Hmm.
mention I hail from. Obviously,
Hmm.
you are a localite.
Yes.
But if you are appearing for an interview in some other at some other place out of your city, you
Hmm.
got my you're getting my point. Then in
Yes.
that very case, after you are done with your name, hail from. I'm so and so hailing from or hail from. Okay, from
Hmm.
Mighty Punjab or an elite city, Jalandhar of
Hmm.
Mighty Punjab. Like in my case, I'm
Yes.
saying it that way. Okay, then you come to your qualifications. It's very
Hmm.
pertinent to mention over here that I have
Yes.
done master's or doctorate or graduation,
Hmm.
whatever. Once you are done with your this description of your degree, if you
Hmm.
are a fresher, you are done with it. Okay. But if you completed your degree a year back, 2 or 3, then you might have done something else. You might have already worked somewhere, or if
Yes.
not in the same profession, might be you did something else during that time,
Hmm.
or you did some internship kind of thing. One thing I want to mention with the specification over here, you always be prepared when, because your subject knowledge is the ultimate thing that is going to create magic. Ultimately, subject
Hmm.
knowledge, you should
Yes.
be, should have thorough knowledge about your subject. Now you see if your subject is theory based or practical based. If
Hmm.
your subject is practical based, then you should be, your all funda should be very clear. You should
Hmm.
lay emphasis on the skill related to that subject. That is the important thing. Always the key point whenever the interviews they start asking, putting up the questions by the
Hmm.
expert, this thing happens. Okay, so this thing is very important because I think they don't come prepared. They don't know exactly what is the meaning of giving the introduction. Of
Hmm.
course, many they start describing, my father is doing this, my mom
Yes.
is a house, we
Yes.
are three brothers, horses kind of thing. It is
Yes.
not at all needed. So mean if asked, only then you say anything about your family or siblings. Otherwise, it's
Hmm.
not at all needed. This is one thing. Another
Yes.
mistake which they make when you are asked about your hobbies, or sometimes you are not
Yes.
asked, you are not
Hmm.
asked, you are appearing for the post of a lecturer in commerce, and you start,
Hmm.
you know, telling them that I'm a very, you can say hodophile. I love traveling and I love
Hmm.
listening music, or I'm an avid reader. Never use these heavy words because you
Yes.
never know that among those 4 or 5 members, someone could be having that kind of passion or interest,
Right.
and then you would find yourself stuck there.
Stuck.
So be
Yes.
constant. That is very
That's
important.
it.
Then
Hmm.
give your introduction in a crispy manner, and always do a very good beginning and land safely. Okay, don't
Yes.
keep on pushing up with the adding more and
Hmm.
more things. You may create trouble for you.
Hmm.
Now, because we are talking about the interview of a teacher, the ultimate landing of the expert would be on your subject.
Right.
You should have a very good knowledge of your
Good
subject, and
knowledge.
especially the subjects like commerce, political science, economics, where
Hmm.
your knowledge should be up to date, totally updated. Number of times, because if you are a student, a candidate of political science, you should have the clear picture of political scenario happening around you. What is at the moment happening? So it means, do you read your newspapers or watch news on the TV or
Yes.
other platforms? Are you aware of
Hmm.
it? You won't believe a number of times students come so blank. Like suppose I'm just
Hmm.
hypothetical. You can take, suppose the budget has been presented today, okay, and
Hmm.
tomorrow next day is the interview day, and you ask what happened in the budget session yesterday, and the candidate is totally blank.
Blank.
This thing can't be expected from, otherwise this thing can be asked to any candidate irrespective of the specialization, but at least from a commerce student you can't expect
Yes.
this weekend.
Exactly. So it just the things keep it very simple and correct I am Neha or my name is Neha. That will
Very, that is the
do.
best.
Yes, for you.
Yeah.
That is it. Sometimes what the people do, because it's this era is all about English language. Everyone just wants to speak fluently. Everyone wants to flaunt in a very good way. In a very good way. So in just that uh, fix over in that dilemma, I would say they just add so many fancy, try to add so many idioms and phrases, fancy words, and they end up in stucking or fumbling, what I believe. So don't go for idioms and phrases, because it's a kind of formal conversation.
And formal, and never
Hmm.
try to use these idioms.
Yes, that's it. So be very precise while introducing yourself. Try to say जितना कम बोल सकते हो, and try to be correct. That's it.
Yes.
Don't go for
And
bigger
one
words,
thing,
difficult words.
sorry, Neha,
Mhm.
I'm interrupting you.
No, no.
That is a very important thing because teaching
Mm.
in these kinds of interviews, a number of times you are given a minute to talk on any topic of your interest. Always be
Yes,
prepared for that.
prepare for that. Exactly. Second thing, what people generally do, as you just mentioned about hobbies, I am a bibliophile, or I am an avid reader. So the next question would be like, okay, which
Yeah.
kind of your
Name any
no,
book.
which sort
Yeah.
of books have you
Yes.
ever read, or kind of. So then, so try be very about to say, be very careful while telling your hobbies. Don't just add so many hobbies, right?
Hmm.
So reading, so
Actually, we
you should have a
always take this word hobby in a very wrong way, wrong and incorrect way, not
huh,
wrong, incorrect way. If suppose
incorrect way.
I'm just reading a
Hmm.
newspaper on daily basis, I don't think it is a hobby. It can't be a
Hobby,
hobby.
huh?
It
Yes.
is a kind of must to be done kind of thing. Suppose
Thing,
in my whole life I have just read one book, and that
huh?
fascinates me a lot. Though I have just one book, I can't say I'm
Hmm.
an avid reader or I'm in a habit of reading.
Yes,
Again, it's not reading. It
exactly.
accidentally or occasionally it happened. Okay,
Happen.
so again the same thing, because it's a time of era of this communication skills, your verbal and non-verbal cues, they play a very important role. So
Hmm.
while coming focusing on the verbal part, don't emphasize unnecessarily on the heavy or fancy words. They may put you in
Yes.
trouble. And
So, introduction is done. Then, what is the most like, ma'am? You have, I guess, you can tell us some most common asked question. Um, if
no,
someone
no,
is preparing
okay.
for teachers.
One thing, subject is the ball is in the court of
Huh.
subject expert. Okay, because so far as
Yes.
subject is concerned, we can't comment on any question related to that subject. In
Hmm.
general, the kind of questions
Huh.
which an employer or anybody can ask, all of a sudden these questions pop up. Your strength and your limitations. One thing, you
Huh.
should be
Right.
very clear of what is your strength and what is your
Hmm.
limitation. And as the head of the institution, my question would come up in the form: suppose we hire you, or we select you, not hire you, because word is used at the
Huh.
corporate end. When we are
Corporate.
recruiting a teacher, we don't use the word
Hmm.
hire you. Okay, so I'm correcting myself because I was to talk in general as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
In what way you are going to prove, or you think that you would prove as an asset for the institution? This is a very
Yes.
critical question, Neha.
Right.
Whatever answer you give, you try to give, you can never reach up to the 100% expectation
Percent.
of the employer.
Hmm.
So there is always scope. So be
Yes.
prepared with this kind of question. I think you could get it, what I want to say.
I got it, and I just want to add one point here for this. If you come across these kind of question, I think before going for any interview, you must have a little bit knowledge about that particular organization or institute or school, right? So
Yes.
you should go through the objectives, for what purpose they are going to select you, what are their main objectives or main motive. So here you can flaunt that, you can just use that objective to give that weightage to your answer. It just came to my mind, so I just jumped into
Yeah.
the
In,
conversation.
yes, normally, of course, if you are appearing for the interview of a teacher, even in that very
Hmm.
case, you should have all the knowledge related to that institution, that how many
Yes.
students, what is the strength of the institution, what is
Huh.
the level at, or the grade of the institution among all the
Yes.
institutions of the city, what are their, you can say, annual results, their positions, the
Results.
distinctions of the
Hmm.
students, etc. That knowledge is, of course, it is expected. But in spite of it, so many activities are held in the institutions. It's not really
Right.
now, limited to the curriculum only. It
Hmm.
so many,
Exactly.
so many national, international days are celebrated. There is NSS, there is NCC,
Yes.
then there is, now there are grievance cells, anti-ragging cells, kind of thing. Then
Hmm.
at the college level, there are youth festivals. Okay, so
Yes.
actually
Right.
institutions, they have this responsibility of the holistic growth. They have to provide the holistic,
Growth.
take care of the holistic growth of the
Yes.
student. If I am a subject expert from, I belong to subject of science or life sciences, so it means institution is not expecting this thing only from me, that once I'm
Huh.
done with my
Right.
3, 4, 5 classes, and no, so much is still in the bucket. Who is going to,
Yes.
they are not going to depute some special people for that. They expect,
Hmm.
in most of the institutions, this all thing is expected from the teachers. Even
Right.
now these days, even emphasis, the special classes, they are arranged, not arranged, these are taken up by the teachers, about
Teachers.
communication skill and then personality development. It's not, you're
Right.
not going to sit for any paper related to personality development,
Hmm.
but because the institutions realize it, that this thing is very important, so far as the, building up of the, a कहते हैं ना, personality of an individual, or
Right.
this, so they expect these things also from you. What extra you
Hmm.
can do beside teaching them commerce or economics or political science? What
Yes.
might be, you are good at reasoning.
Hmm.
Now students are not appearing for the commerce paper only. After they are done with their schooling or with their graduation, probability is 90% of them, or if not 90, 30%, if they are going to join their parents business, 70% might be appearing for sitting for some competitive examination. Got it?
Right.
So in at that, so that thing is also kept in mind, that in what way
Hmm.
you can prove an asset for the institutions.
Right, ma'am. Okay. So I think these are the basic things, and we can't provide word to word answer to all the questions because you never know uh,
Not possible.
what would be the questions, right? But yes, one tip from my side, introduction, because whatever the post you are going to apply, you are going to face an interview, you have to tell something about yourself. So be very correct with your
Yes.
introduction. Practice, right? Practice your introduction, very short and crispy one. Second thing, why should we hire you? I think this is the most commonly asked question. What are your weakness and strengths? But ma'am, people flaunt their strengths, but how to tell your weakness? Because it's been said that you do not have to be very honest while telling your weakness, that I am a lazy or I am not punctual. So weakness should be in the in the form of hidden form of strength.
Yes, yes, yes. You should be smart enough, because nobody is
Hmm.
going to hire you if you say it openly, and rather it shouldn't be
Ah,
your answer. If you are
yes.
lazy, then no one is going to hire you.
Going to
No one would
right.
like to hire you, because
Yes.
here weakness is something else. Like,
Hmm.
weakness may be that, suppose I'm good at my subject, but I'm still
Hmm.
weak so far as this technology is concerned. I'm not techie.
Huh.
I can't use computer, so freely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can contribute at some other end, but sorry, sir,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
still lack. So this is my weakness. I'm trying to learn
Yes.
more and more about it, but
Hmm.
it's, for the moment, it's, I'm not up to
Hmm.
that mark. Weakness should come in that very way, that it should again leave a positive impact on the mind of the
Hmm.
person, because now it is a, you mentioned, it is a era of technology, and everybody is
Yes.
using smartphone. So that way it is expected that you are quite familiar with doing typing and other stuff related with whatever we see on related to
Mhm.
smartphone. But in spite of it, there are so many people who are using this phone simply just to make the calls. Positive impact. When you tell about
Yes.
your weakness, it
Mhm.
conveys a, you can say it is sending a positive kind of message to the person on the other side.
And this, just keep it in your mind that this is not going to be the last interview of your life. It's just that life gives you opportunities. Try to make best of those opportunities. And yes, if you are not selected, it's just a thing that you do not meet the expectations of that particular organization towards
Maybe you
success.
are tailored for something better than this.
Yes.